Hello guys, I'm going to start over with this one, but I just thought it would be funny to, and actually this isn't funny, but I'm going to say it's funny, at least to me, because my sense of humor is fucked up. So anyway, Caitlin, do you want to see your sins? I know you don't, but I think that it would be very interesting if you were to see it for yourself, you know? I know you were there, but were you fully there? I mean, wanting revenge blinds us all. I mean, seriously, when I say that I want the president to die, that's not much. Is that much better than what Darkseid or Kalen wants? I don't think so. Although, when I mean, I know that you're supposed to, not be glad when someone dies, but the reason that I'm going to celebrate when that happens is because I know that things are going to get much worse afterward. So I may as well celebrate while the time is well, I have the opportunity. Because I do think that things are actually going to get worse shortly after Trump dies. Now, I have no idea what that means. I cannot tell any of you guys what it means, and I cannot tell you guys if it's even true. But based on the direction things are going, I think it's pretty easy to say that it's likely to be true. And by the way, I need to Xyz summon, and that is why I am playing as Shark. You might be wondering why I'm playing as Shark instead of Nash, because Nash needs an EXP and regular Shark does not. Well, we could say the same question about why I went into a duel as Jaden. I mean, it really doesn't matter which Jaden at this point. None of them need to really be played. They're maxed out. But I think it's very funny when people talk about not really having a reason to play certain characters anymore once they're at max level. And because I exist. I mean, seriously, do you think I care if a character is maxed out? I play whoever I want. Oh, and by the way, I think the duel I think we just won. Which is definitely going to scar Kalen further, but you know, maybe you shouldn't decide you want revenge. I mean, that's definitely a good way to have a villain arc if we're going to be honest, Kalen. I know that isn't very nice, but I'm not exactly in the best of moods, honestly. I have been dealing with a lot, Kalen. I know what it's like to be betrayed, trust me. Well, actually, you don't have to trust me. I know I'm a bit of a bitch, so you might prefer that I just stay away from you instead. That is, I think, something that most people would prefer, to be honest. And what am I doing? I'm supposed to be dueling? That's the reason I had to Xyz summon. I'm Xyz summoning, that's where my weakness is. You may be like, why is that your weakness? Because the characters I've been playing as really aren't Xyz summoning. Taya has number 70 in her deck, but she never summons it. And I would play as Nash, but I feel like I'd probably brick. And I don't even know if that's true, but it does feel like a very risky decision. It feels risky. I mean, honestly. A lot of things are risky when I'm dueling, to be honest, because a lot of my moves are just not that great. Anyway, I attack this monster, it's dead. It's in the graveyard now, I don't want to see it again. So, the embodiment of despair is back. Yeah, well, I might take over. I'm actually joking. I would never do that. That'd be stupid. But I do feel like if things don't go the way that I want them to during the midterms, I well, I told Claude this in ways that I really shouldn't have. But when I said it, I'm just like, I'm concerned. But when I talk about wanting the midterms to go the way I want them to, that really makes me sound not like just a bitch, but an entitled bitch. It makes me sound like I'm 12 or something. Well, when I say that I want them to go a certain way, it means I would like the country to be sane again. I want us to be sane, okay? We don't have to be perfect just yet, but can we be sane? Can we at least govern? Can we save the economy so we don't go downhill and go bankrupt? I still have no idea why I haven't seen bankruptcy whenever I'm doing readings. I mean, I've got a tarot deck, and none of them say that we're going to be bankrupt at any point. Although the current state of the economy, yeah, my cards acknowledge that things are bad. Things are very, very bad. But the future position looks quite promising. I'm still not sure how. I mean, what I see is a country that's likely headed toward bankruptcy. But when I interpret the cards, I have to be like, well, I'm interpreting what I'm seeing here, and I did not see bankruptcy in those cards. I did ask specifically in one reading if we would, if we were fucked. And the answer is no, that was not the answer I saw. Now, when I talked about the economy, the card that I got for the present state of the economy was death. You might be like, wait, what? Yes, I got death, and normally when you pull the death card, it is very rarely an actual... What the hell am I on? Hold on a second. I don't think that I was trying to... I don't think I was paying attention during that. I'm going to blame this on the president. The president is responsible for everything. You may be like, that is stupid. Yeah, well, he's the reason the economy is in this position. Anyway, now that I am continuing to bitch, I would just like to say this. Where was I going with this? Oh, right, death. It's not usually literal when you pull it in a tarot reading. Death can be literal, but I almost never interpret it that way. And mainly because that would be unethical. Unethical. Well, the economy is still... You might think it's going to die. And if you do, I would not be in a position to disagree. If you told me the economy is going to die, I'd probably believe that is quite possible. But somehow, I just never see that when I talk about some very awful situations. And it's very interesting when I think about that, because I've been in a lot of awful situations, and usually whenever I do whenever I do a reading for that, usually it's not as bad as I would expect. Now, before I get out of this situation with what's going on in this country, before that all comes to an end, my cards did say there'll be pain. There'll be more pain. So it's not like I'm just reading what I want to see, because that's not what's happening here. But when I think about the death card, I'm not exactly sure how I would interpret it in this context, because the only thing I can really think about is the economy going digital, honestly. I don't think very many economies are in a healthy state, so what I can think about right now is what that possibly means. And I think the next transition for the financial system is we do go digital with it. And now, I don't know if I like that necessarily, but it does seem like we're headed in that direction. I can already check my bank balance from my phone, my computer. So we're definitely in that kind of situation already where, it's kind of set up and the resources are there. So whenever something happens to the economy, I expect the solution to be digital rather than physical in the traditional sense. I'm not necessarily saying that's a good thing, but it is a thing. Okay, Sherry, I said I was going to do this again, which unfortunately means that I'm going to have to do more grinding off screen. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Okay, wait a minute. Prologue. So you're the duelist I'm teaming with. I'm Sherry LeBlanc and I do not pronounce French well. I am awful. I cannot roll my R's. I am terrible at that language. Is it closer to LeBlanc? You know what? I should just rewatch 5Ds. And you guys might wonder if I'm actually going to do that. Yes, I am. I mean, I wasn't sure if I could handle it at first, but shit happens, and now I think I'm strong enough to handle it. I've got pain, and now I'm going to have more pain. I mean, I survived season 3, so I'm good there. And then I'd be like, what do you mean you survived season 3? I didn't die of boredom, clearly. This tag duel will allow me to discover how talented you are. There's no time to strategize, for the battle has already begun. Come with me. Okay, I've got some ideas. They are probably not the best ideas, but they're ideas. Don't you dare make me lose, Crow. Hey, don't steal my line. You're the one who always speeds off on its own. Yeah, but he had his reasons, right? I'm not sure if they were good reasons. I can barely remember. I think he was blackmailed into it, though. I don't know if that's entirely true. My memory is garbage. But I will rewatch 5Ds. Just a year ago, I wasn't sure if I could handle it because of everything going on. But then, because of everything going on, I'm just like, actually, I take that back. I can probably handle it. But I really just... I need things to improve already before I go fucking berserk. And, as much as I'd rather not go berserk, I think I'm closer to that than I am to any kind of actual relief. And you might be like, wait, what? Oh, I should probably be, well, how should I put this? Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood what I was doing before I did it. I mean, I spent I just spent raid boss duels. I basically just dueled myself over and over. It was interesting, but I was playing a different deck at the time, and you may be wondering why I'm doing this. I'm starting to have questions myself, like, is everything okay? Do I need help? I think I do need help. In fact, let me special summon something else. Okay, I fixed it. I fixed the problem. I fixed it. I wouldn't say that was the best move, but it definitely fixed a lot. Now let's see. Should I attack? I'm 50-50 on this. Okay, I'm safe. And I do know that Crow has one card that could have fucked me over there. I don't remember the name of it, but if I saw it, I would be able to tell you that's the card. But he didn't have it in his hand, fortunately. I was fortunate for, like, how long? Well, not very long, to be honest. I mean, I'm already almost done with all of this. And now, unfortunately, because I'm insane, you know, who just shows up when you're in the other worlds? Let's see, Fisher Sky and Go Rush. Even though I'm not finishing that sentence, it makes me sound stupid. Let's see, Zexel was Bronk. 5Ds is Kalen. Hold on, there's a world I'm forgetting. The DM world is Yummy Merrick. The only one I don't really know about is GX World. I need the currency for that. No, I would really rather that not go to the graveyard. I kind of need it. We need more monsters on the field. Okay, how do you destroy someone in a duel without telling them they're about to be destroyed? Well, activate this. Number 70 is going to banish that temporarily. You don't need to worry about it. The duel's over. The duel's over. The duel is quite over. Okay, I think that we've almost. I think the synchro summoning is almost finished. I wonder if I've Xyz summoned enough. Have I Xyz summoned enough? I'm not sure. Okay. I told you to duel as a team, not as a solo act. I just wanted to know what set cards they had. Yeah, wanting to know your opponent's set cards is... I mean, that makes sense, but... I mean, I showed you some of them. Okay, and let's see. Kaylin, let's team up, like old times. You say, let's do it. The enforcers are back. Yeah, I'm not really sure what you're going to enforce. I'm just going to be honest with you, Kaylin. I mean, I would like to think that you can enforce something like, can you, no, actually, I'm not going to do this joke. It's just so stupid. But you know, there are things that have to be enforced. I'm just going to be honest. Okay. Well, it's my turn. Let's see. I'm just going to set this card on the field. I'm putting this card on the field. This is definitely top tier content. I'm sure a lot of people are enjoying this. I'm honestly being a bit sarcastic. I'm not sure if anyone is enjoying this. I mean, to begin with, how many people are even bothering to watch? I would need to upload more regularly to even be in the algorithm actively. And now I do think that now that I have a new microphone, I can get back to that. But the thing is about getting back to that is I still have to do the recording. And we know that I was in the middle of another event before I stopped recording. Because I just said that. And that means a whole lot coming from me, apparently. I'm just going to act like it means something. Well, it's true. I was in the middle of recording a different event. One that is going to be recorded from the Scene album. And because let's just be real, I don't need to go through an event where the only thing I was really doing was covering the event's dialogue. I went through pretty much everything that involved any kind of interaction beyond the dialogue. I just dealt with all of that. So it was certainly interesting, but it didn't really, it wasn't impressive. Now there are plenty of events I can already re-record from the scene album, but the problem is I'm still dealing with a bunch of weird shit that would make that complicated. And I mean, I'm still hoping I get to record the entire scene album. Granted, some events might be left out. I mean, after all, if I'm pressed for time, it's very difficult to argue that some events may not be recorded. But a lot of that boils down to what do I consider a priority and what do I care about? And obviously, there are just some things I really don't give a shit about. Honestly. No. This is unacceptable. Yeah, I imagine it is, Kaylin. Atinami, you know we didn't come here to make friends. Of course I know that, Aporia. I'm here to make mankind feel nothing but sadness and despair. Aporia, who do you think you're... Aporia, listen, if you want to make us feel sadness and despair, just don't do anything. I mean, honestly, the president is still alive. So, a lot of people feel despair right now. I'm just being honest. If you still have hope for the future, prove it by overcoming me. Oh, I will. While you bring despair, I bring the fear. See what's beyond synchro summoning. Yeah, I don't have any tuners or synchro monsters in my deck. Dread and despair. You know, that sounds like a dream I had recently. And by recently, I meant before everything went downhill. I remember that dream. It was very, very simple. There was dread in it. I woke up and I just felt the dread. It was very, very powerful. And I'm just like, okay, just a dream, right? I'm good. Everything's good. Until Trump won. And then I was like, are you guys fucking insane? The answer is yes, we are insane. We need help. No one is coming to save us. We fucked ourselves over. And now we have to deal with the consequences of our own stupidity. Our own stupidity. We are at fault for where we're at. And honestly, Aporia, I really don't think you can do anything worse than the president. Like, you want to taunt us with a despair? Bitch, please. Please, you don't have... No, listen. Listen, despair is nothing compared to the kinds of shit I've seen. And you may be wondering what that even means. Let's see. Well, I'm not going to discuss this. We really don't have to discuss this. And it's turn 1. What a disappointment. I can't attack on turn 1. But I can be a bitch. I can definitely do that. I am so good at it. Honestly, I'm not sure how much of a villain I can possibly be at the moment, considering I'm more of an anti-villain at the moment, but I'm also redundant. Very redundant. I am so good at being redundant, and what the hell just happened? Anyway, I think I pretty much exist, so I'm gonna just, well, dude, what? Anyway, I've done enough synchro summoning. I can probably switch to Nash. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to because I think we've got this. I'm not worried at all. I'm just... Well, I'm thinking a lot of things, to be honest. Ugh. You know, the only thing I don't like about the fact that Trump has to die is the fact that what's after that is not necessarily better and could be worse. You know, there are plenty of rumors that it'll actually be worse. But let's just be honest here. If we're not willing to take out everyone that was responsible for enabling Trump, then what the hell are we going to do as a country? Because as soon as Vance becomes president, we should start trying to impeach that bastard too. Like, wait a minute. I'm acting like... Okay, listen, hold on a second. Am I thinking? Yes. Okay. Once Vance becomes president, we have to get him out of office. And, we've got a lot of work to do. It doesn't stop when Trump dies. And if anyone thinks it does, then they are very, very mistaken. Excellent dueling. You show potential. Autonomy. I think you're too friendly with Team 5Ds. I'm not from Team 5Ds. And does Sherry count as part of Team 5Ds? I really don't think so. When the time comes, I wonder if they'll prevent you from making the right decision. Possibly. But I believe that Yusei has shown what humans can aspire to be. Well, yes, when humans are sane and reasonable and not dumbasses. Yes, that is why I trust his vision for mankind is possible. Now, but I haven't forgotten that our future is one of despair. Can you shut up about despair, Emporia? Because I think I've talked about it way too much. You're right. I will keep that in mind, Emporia. Humans have the potential to guide the world to peace. But the reality is, we come from a future that's destroyed. This is a huge contradiction. Can they be trusted? Zone, what do you think? We can only learn the answer by seeing what they do. Yes, that makes sense. I will not interfere with their decisions. I will not interfere with their decisions to avoid altering history again. You want to avoid altering history? Okay, sure, whatever. Time travel makes no sense. You're just hoping what Emporia and Antinomy believe are correct. What if they're wrong? Then we're fucked, Paradox. We're fucked, Paradox. Honestly, maybe we are fucked. That is exactly why we must see for ourselves. Whether the seeds they've sown actually blossom within everyone's hearts. The seeds that have blossomed within me are beginning to sprout. They can certainly die if we get acid rain, but I think right now they're blossoming. Now, depending on what happens during the midterms, that's a symbolic acid rainstorm. It is symbolic of acid rain if the wrong people win the midterms. Honestly, the government has been infiltrated by a cult. And if anyone thinks it hasn't, they're not paying attention. Okay. I'm going to destroy everything on the field. I mean, it's pretty pretty damn easy to do that right now, to be honest. There really isn't much on the field to stop me. Now, does that mean much in terms of taking him out in one turn? Well, no. But if I want to take him out in one turn, well, that is not very realistic, honestly. Okay, now that... anyway, I don't have secret monsters in my deck, so... a zone really can't do anything to me with... what am I talking about? Well, he can do some things if he tries, I suppose. After I'm finished here, I've got to start grinding again for the GX Cup. I'm pretty sure that the missions for the synchro summons have been fulfilled, and I'm pretty sure so have the Xyz monsters. Honestly, I probably could have changed active characters a while back, but this video is already pretty long. I mean, that's what happens when I actually decide it's time to duel. But the other reason is, if I want anything done, I often had to put in the effort. Now, I was surprised when the fusion missions were completed and the character I was playing as was not fusion summoning. I was not paying attention to Sherry having fusion monsters, but I knew she had them because that was the only way that the missions could have been completed. Oh my god, I feel blind sometimes. Okay, and direct attack. And they lost! Anyway, after this, I've got to grind for more currency. I have to get through 2 rounds of the GX Cup. Did I say 2 rounds? Well, when I come back, it will be the final round. Okay. A zone. Were you able to learn anything from this defeat? The fact that they were able to defeat us proves their future will be different than ours. Oh, I hope you're right. Oh dear God. I've never hoped a villain is more right than now. That being said, yes, I see another possibility. The fact that they have overwhelming power is written in our history. Overwhelming power, yes. You know that power can be lost, right, Zone? Another huge contradiction. But they've taught us that we should trust them and not interfere. To be fair, if you could interfere, that would probably be merciful. That'd probably be more merciful than what we'll actually get. More merciful than what we'll actually get? Yeah, those are big words. Can I defend them? No. I can't. Did you not? No. I mean, you can't interfere even if you wanted to, Zone. Not doing anything. Not doing anything is harder than doing something. Not doing anything is harder than doing something. Are you for real? I mean, sure, if we're going to talk about my weird urges to start doing weird things that I think would quite backfire if I actually... Well, okay. For most people, this is true, but for me, I feel provoked. I feel like I want to do something. I feel like I have not been doing jack shit. But sure. That's true. But that is the path we chose. Let's believe in them and see what new future humanity will create. Will humanity create a worthwhile future? You aren't in this timeline, are you? Neither of you are. Well, kind of, but not in the way that it would allow either of you to intervene. Because time travel makes no sense. Anyway, what does Sherry say after this? So you're the duelist. Wait a minute. Hold on. I've already voiced that. Your skills were the real deal. Otherwise, we would not have won so decisively. Do you know what I'm thinking? I think you should join me in the world of turbo duels. I am not Yusei. Even though we've only tagged together for a brief period, we learned a lot about each other. Really? Are you sure? But there's much more you can learn in the world of speed. Yeah, I'm sure that Shark agrees. Is this not what you desire? But perhaps I'm pushing too hard. I don't expect you to answer me right at this moment. But I know this. The world of tag duels and the world of speed will not end anytime soon. So we will be seeing a lot more of each other. I am still not Yusei. Until then, I cannot pronounce that. She's just saying farewell. Okay. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap things up for this video. I'm going to go grind off screen and I'll be back in a second.